Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Etsy created 3D upgrades. This is actually an updated video for the 1UpYourGame Marvel United standees. So I'll link in the video for the first video if you want to check that out, but I did go over a bunch of these cool standees that this creator made for the Marvel United, which can be used for other games as well. And in that video I do show off some other options, but this one I want to actually just focus on just the Marvel United stuff. Because we have some cool ones. So here I have some I started to paint. Granted, my paint jobs aren't going to be as great as some other people's, but they work for me. So I'm going to pop out the thing here. So we have these nice little stands. It's really cool is because they have little grip spots on them, so you can set them on your shelf, pick them up. And the idea is if you want to play as one of the characters, whether it's a hero such as Ben Grimm here, the Thing, or it's a villain like Doc Ock, or if we have Juggernaut, who's a dual character or anti-hero, depending on if you're talking to Marvel or DC United, you can just grab their thing and go. And on the bottom, he does have little letters on there, such as H for heroes, so we know that. The deck's fitting here very nicely, so we have Benjamin J. Grimm's little deck here, and we're just gonna. And I have these sleeved, and they fit in there very nicely sleeved. If they're unsleeved, they'll maybe have a little bit more wobble to them, but they will still fit. And then the miniatures sit on there very nicely. And you can kind of depending on which characters, you can kind of rotate them a bit. You can put them front ways, back ways. Villain cards are a little bit deeper because they have their extra 6 threat cards. Again, you can see good Octavius, who fits in here very nicely. I can kind of rotate him around if I would like. And on the bottom of his, we'll have a little V for villain. So that way you can, when you order these, you can order them as one individual. You can order them in bundles. And then we have anti-heroes, such as Juggernaut, who of course you got because of promo cards, which are available either through a convention or Dice Tower, and then eventually they're going to be part of Witching Hour. So we have his hero cards and his villain cards. There's a slot for each of those. So a little bit thicker and a little bit smaller. So there are 3 basic types, which will cover the majority of the characters in the game. And on the bottom, it has a little A for anti-hero. Again, DC started calling them dual mode. But we have good old K Marco there. So those are the 3 basic types. Now, what I wanted to show off, I showed off some of these in the first one, but he's made, the creator's made even more different styles. Because as he was getting more of his pledge, picking up more sets, he's been able to design these to more specifically fit other characters. So I did want to show off some of them. So I know like one that I showed off the previous time was for Spot. Part of the Spider-Geddon set. So this is just a regular villain. But then it has a slot here for tokens. Now, I do not currently have the plastic tokens as of they're coming with my multiversal set, which I have yet to receive. But yeah, they fit the cardboard ones and they're just nice. And generally speaking, the plastic tokens aren't that much thicker, so there's a little bit of leeway in there for those. So they should fit just fine. And then what they did is, I'm going to set this down. I'm going to try not to spell this. So on the bottom, now it's listed as Spot. Before, they were just kind of listed as a generic one for any character that had them. Now he's specifically designing them. Okay, this is for Spot to hold him, so if you're looking to buy it for Spot, you can pick that up. He still does have some listed on a site there for just a generic. This will hold any character that may have tokens. Now, that's just a good way to future-proof for future sets. But yeah, it's kind of very helpful. So another character we did look at previously was Victor Creed, Sabretooth. So he has his Hunter token. So originally, this was just like a round base. He changed it into a hex base, so it just fits in there a little bit nicer so it doesn't slop around as much. Otherwise, yeah, just a normal thing. And his on the bottom will say Saber or Sabretooth. Fits his cards in there very nicely. But yeah, so now if I want to play as him or Spot, for example, I immediately grab them to fight them. I have their tokens with me. I don't have to go search my box for all the extra tokens. So third up, we saw good old Raven Darkholm Mystique, who she has the rounded base in here for her Senator Kelly token. And then she has her 2 decks. She has her hero and her villain, because she does have anti-hero cards. So you can see that's really neat how that works. And then she'll slide right in there as well. Now, you notice they don't have any names on here. You can leave them blank. The creator does offer a printout of names, either red, blue, I think, or purple, for if they're hero or anti-hero or villain. You can do. I, myself, am personally creating a bunch of my own to put on there. I did kind of show them off in the previous video. And maybe after I get some more things and I get them all finalized, maybe I'll post them again on here. So those were a couple of the ones we saw previously already. Now we want to look at some of the new ones that he's made. So let me just set these guys off to the side. And the Mystique and Sabretooth one were updated from previous. I just tossed Sabretooth off his base. I didn't show Mystique's on the bottom. Now it says Mystique. Yeah, so those are definitely those. So one of the ones we did kind of look at before, we're going to look at it again, is we have Superior Spider-Man. And I know I'm showing off a lot of the ones I painted. I just happened to paint these because I set them aside before when I was doing these videos. So his is the anti-hero, so we have both sets there. Made his villain side a little bit thicker because he has mission cards. Then also he's added a spot in the back for his equipment card as a hero. I just have them upside down. So that's a really fun one too. Now he is making some of these for the heroes as well. So with all of the updated Marvel United multiverse stuff coming out, there will be equipment cards coming out. So a lot of the characters that I've already purchased some. I'm gonna have to maybe get some new bases to hold the equipment. Some characters have 1 card, some have 3 or 4 cards. I think Iron Man has up to 5. I think Hawkeye has 6. So they might either be a little bit loose in there, or he might have to make multiple sizes. I don't know. I don't think he's gotten too much into doing all of those just yet. I think he did like an average of 3 for now, but a couple of the characters might have slightly different ones. We do have 2 other characters that have special tokens. We have Boomer, which I have not painted yet. So on the bottom, hers will say Boom for Boomer. So it holds her 3 explosion tokens. Very nice in there. They come out very easily. Drop them back in. So we got good old Boomer there. Tabitha. Was the anti-Spider-Man one? Yes, it says SSM for Superior Spider-Man. Designed specifically for his because he has some extra cards to hold. We do have one for First Class Iceman. Now this one they didn't do the hexes for it. Just kind of did a regular holding spot. So this is, that's what I have here. This is just Hero 3 tokens. This is not one specifically designed for Iceman. So you might, in the future, make one that holds the hexes so they don't slosh around as much. But if not, this again works perfectly great. This could work again for Boom Boom as well. Because he just has that cool, just 3 tokens. So you don't always need to have one specifically. Some of the other ones will work just fine. Let's look at some of the other ones that are very interesting. We have Kingpin, the old Wilson Fisk, who has his 6 plan tokens. I really love this, to get hold that, because, again, it's just another thing. I want to play as him. I can just pick him up. Boom, I have his villain deck here. I have all his plan tokens. Number 6, what's it, number 1, number 3. I can just slide them right in there. And good, we're good to go. I don't need to do anything else. He's all ready to go. Our next villain that has a special thing. So they did make some, I didn't bring them over. We have one that's a villain that just has a cube by himself, like Red Skull has. I didn't grab that one. We have anti-heroes like Anti-Venom, who have one as well, because he has both decks, but he gets to hold his little cube in there. So if I'm playing as him, I got that right away. And again, if we look at the bottom there, it'll say Anti-Venom, and I just dumped all my cards out. Yeah, so those are, I really like these. I like the idea of doing each one a little bit tailored to their character as specific things. Because I think the majority of the characters, all the original ones from the original Marvel United line, don't generally have anything special, except now some might have equipment. The X-Men ones, it's kind of a little bit hit or miss, and I think the newer one, it's, it's here and there, but it's not every single character has a special one. Then our next one up is we have Sora and Carl Lycos. So this is neat in two different ways. One, because we have the hex base, kind of like we were looking at with Sabretooth, but it's a little bit deeper because we have two in there. But also his base sticks out a little bit farther than some of the other characters because he is larger. So if I tried to stick him on, let's say, Anti-Venom here, you'll see he won't fit because his tail sticks out. So this is one thing the creator is working on doing, is making bases for some of the bigger characters, such as Sauron, and a couple of other ones that stick out like that. Plus, some of the characters that actually have physical bigger bases, like Mojo, and I know Mojo sticks out and is bigger. The Brood Queen, I think, either sticks out or is bigger. Plus, like Onslaught. Plus, there's going to be more. And he's trying to figure out how to do the giant characters, such as possibly the Sentinels and Goliath and Stature coming out, because they are bigger bases. So they're obviously going to be like big chunky figures. So it's like, do you make a really big base, or how do we want to do that? So I really look forward to seeing what his designs are for those. Up next, we have the last three that have a bunch of little tokens. So we have good old Victor Von Doom, Dr. Doom here, who has his Doombot tokens, and he also has a spot for his tracker there. So this will hold all your different tokens in there, which is really nice. Plus, he's an anti-hero. So you get some of these bases are a little bit chunkier than others. So if like you hold this up to just the thing. So if we put them both back to back, so the cards are sitting there, he's going to sit way back. So I guess that's going to have to debate how you want to do it. I would probably personally maybe even do it like that. Line them up with the pieces like that. The cards might not line up exactly. You could put them back a little bit. You could run them both to the edge forward, and then there should be even characters. The cards just might not be even. But yeah, you're going to get some of these characters with a little bit thicker bases. So it's also something to keep in mind if you're looking at storing, and you buy just some of the, if you just want to get the heroes, the cards, the stands like this, or the ones for the villains to hold their cards, or anti-heroes even, you don't care about having all the tokens, you can definitely pick them up. Or you can pick up the ones with tokens as well. We have another one that does this as well, which is Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man. Now, I did have an issue with this one, though. I don't know why, if his tokens are just a little tad thicker, or if the thing got just slightly off, or we were just trying, the cardboard tokens may have worked just fine. Like the plastic tokens, you don't quite fit the last two in there. The other one fell out. Yeah, so they're just a little bit depth-wise different than Dr. Doom's. Let me see if we can actually take a look at that if we pop these cards out. But this is the whole thing. It's all a creative process, yeah. As you can see, we look there, and we line up the fronts of those. Dooms actually stick back just a tad bit farther. So this will be a thing that the creator might have to look at, and I'll, if he doesn't see from watching this video, I'll definitely message him about it. But it's also nice to have that just quick comparison. Maybe just, again, might not have all the plastic tokens for everything yet, so he might just be kind of doing what he can do with what he has. Alright, I took all my Doom cards out, now he's falling over. Alright, then the last character we have to show off that also has special token spots, and we'll scooch these guys over, is we have Mr. Sinister. You guys' bases are a little bit to hide, a little bit farther to make room for his cape, but he has his DNA tokens, and these work really nice. Pull them out just like these guys with their tokens, or the Fisk ones. I do like that they made them up a little bit higher than the tokens, because that way they're not falling forward, but they're still easy to grab. Now, the only thing that's going to happen here is, the other thing that will eventually need to be corrected is because this is just a villain version, but they do have the promo version that is out from Comic-Cons, much like Juggernaut. But it's also part of the Witching Hour coming out with Scarlet Witch. is he actually has an anti-hero set. So eventually we'll have to get a new one made that fits that. But again, I get this, even though this probably says Sinister on the bottom. If I flip it over, yeah, like Sinister. The thing is, there's probably someone in one of the other multiverse sets, or bare minimum, by the time I get Batman, or the DC United, I'll probably have another character that has a bunch of tokens like that that I can just replace it with. So it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, this is garbage and throw it away. I can always use somebody else for it. Or alternatively, I know it's just because that if I get Witching Hour eventually, same thing with Juggernaut or any of the other Deadpool and Hulk, because you have Grey Hulk in there. Those 4 characters in the Witching Hour set have an extra miniature, so you could do kind of like Venom from the first series and have a hero version and a villain version, and not necessarily, because I have 2 different miniatures and not just an anti-hero version. It just depends on which way you want to do it. And that's, again, that's up to you. That's what's always fun about any of this stuff, is you do what works for you. So that's what we have for this. So I was really happy to get these, showing them all off. As I get more stuff collected in that, I'll definitely want to show off the full collection of all the miniatures together. Plus, I can't wait to see what we do for some of the other ones. The only other thing I know that I'm looking to see how maybe the creator ends up doing it, and how I'm going to do it if he doesn't find a solution, or until he finds a solution. You know, I'm not trying to force him to do anything. But he seems to really enjoy this, so, and making special ones. So I really hope something cool comes out. Are some of the teams. So we have, like, from Unite, from the base game, we have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch as a team. So there's 2 miniatures, but they share the same deck of cards. And the same thing as in the X-Men set, we ended up with the Brotherhood, which is Blob, Toad, and Pyro. So 3 characters, but 1 deck of cards. And then the new one, we have the Wrecking Crew. That, if I remember correctly, I think they all share a deck as well. So my thought was kind of maybe include them, do them similar to how you'd end up having to do one for the pets, is the pets only have 3 cards. So make just trades, instead of holding 6 cards, make them hold 5 or 4. Depending on the number we need. 12 divided, if you get 5, they might have a little bit of looseness in them if you only have 4 or 3 cards. But you could definitely spread them out across multiple stands. So each character, rather than trying to make a multi-stand to hold all 3 characters. That could also be an option. You know, like, just as an example, if you had the 2 characters, you could just make one, maybe make a central one. Or, you know, make one that's kind of like angled like this. But the only problem there is that once you start angling or making them bigger, they're going to be harder to pick up. Or they're not going to, like, if it's angled like this, it would definitely look really cool to have 3 characters or 4 characters. But then it's going to sit weird on your shelf next to everything else. But these are just really easy to grab and slide back in. So I think kind of making one with smaller amounts of cards would make more sense, kind of where the pets are going to want to be. Yeah, so there's only a handful of characters that have those group ones like that. So that's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with those. Again, the big giant characters, only a few of them so far. It'll be interesting to see what we do with them. I'll like Fing Fang Foom. I honestly don't like someone like him or Galactus. If they have any cards, like any of their cards, I would honestly say don't bother to make one. Just because of the fact that, you know, don't bother to make a stand, try to make a stand for them. Maybe just make some of these guys with just deck holders. Could be kind of cool as well. And then, of course, we have the DC one coming out, and there's going to be some unique, interesting stuff there. Like the fugitive characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, who can be, technically, they're all heroes, but then they have the mode where you can play as them as heroes fighting against the villain characters from Arkham. So they almost need dual mode things as well. So that'll be interesting, like a dual or anti-hero stand. Then you have some of the, what are the support characters? I forgot what they're exactly called. Commissioner Gordon, Alfred Pennyworth, where they have, I think, 1 card. So again, that'll be interesting to see, is it, you know, make the stand for them so you can display them with everybody, but then they only have 1 card. Be kind of interesting. Alright, that's what we have for this video. Again, it is 1UpYourGame. Sorry, this is at the bottom, but I have my address on here, and I really don't feel like sharing that with the internet. Yeah, so go ahead, check them out. I'll have them in the links. As I get more newer stands with newer characters, I'll probably do another updated video to show off some of the cool things. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.